have the whole interview done before we actually start the interview. So we'll take a break here. So we know we got a few things that we'll talk about. I'm going to talk about the latest video that y'all did, because you got a bunch of 1/64 scales coming out that I want to talk about. And and we'll have Mark will pop in a few minutes. So we're going to just roll with it and see where the evening takes us. So, all right, in 3, 2.
You're watching Diecast Breakdown with Chuck Ellis, David Johns, and Mark McHotwheel. So sit back, strap in, and hang on. The breakdown starts now.
Hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to another episode of Diecast Breakdown. So excited you are with us today. I want to give a special welcome, of course, to our executive producer level patrons who give $20 a month or more to help make the show go. We're extremely grateful to them. They are First and 64th Customs, Dane Self, DrivenDreams.org, Jason, Mad Visions, Mike Sponson Customs, Reviews Through Another Lens, TWYCE Diecast, thanks David, and Video Geek Productions. So thank you to them and all the patrons that you see on our screen that help make the show go. You can join their ranks over at diecastbreakdown.com if you want to kick a few bucks our way. You don't have to do the full 20, but you get a special thank you on the show if you do. But that really helps pay for all the fancy gear that you don't see that makes the show go. You can also check out, while you're there, our merch store. There's a link to there. So if you like the threads that you see the hosts wearing throughout the show and you go, oh, I've got to get me some of that, you can find that over at diecastbreakdown.com as well. And while you're finding things, I'm going to find myself co-hosting another show with my lovely co-host, Mr. David Johns.
Lovely.
David, how the heck are you today?
Apparently I'm lovely, but I do appreciate that. I'm doing good, Chuck. Good place to be tonight.
Always lovely to see you, David. And our other co-host, Mark, will be joining us later in the interview. He is doing the Lord's work over there, making cars shiny and pretty and new looking over at Auto Peak Detailing. Go check him out if you got a chance and you want to spend a lot of money on making your car look amazing. It's worth every penny, I assure you. Other things that are worth every penny, how's that for a transition, are so lovely tiny cars over at Round 2. And speaking of Round 2, we are joined by Mr. Chad Reid once again. Chad, thank you so much for joining us on Diecast Breakdown yet again. I think this is your third time with us.
Yeah, I think so.
And we were talking before the show, your role has evolved since the last time you were on the show. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, a little bit. So I've been just under 10 years at Round 2. Always was doing the marketing. And so I was the marketing manager, and now my title's changed a little bit where I am the manager of marketing and trends. And that's just a trendy way of saying, on top of doing some of the marketing work, we're looking at new trends within the industry, both automotive and pop culture, and then kind of working alongside some of the other brand managers in product development and helping to inform kind of where the market's going and then figure out where we want to grow into different areas to make product, different types of customers, and even other product for our existing customers as well.
That sounds really interesting. So where do you go to research these trends? Like what kind of research does that entail?
It depends a little bit on what it is. Part of it, from the automotive standpoint, is just being involved in automotive car culture as a whole. So I like to spend my weekends, my friends and I will go up and do racing. We do Lemons racing. We'll go to car shows, different car events. A lot of time on social media, just seeing what's going on and what's trending, how people are building cars, what the styles are. And then from pop culture, there's a lot of that too. And then a lot of travel. We've been going to some of the licensing expos. We've been trying to work closer with some of our current licensors, looking at new licensing, and then what other things that we can bring out within the realm of what we have now. So.
Okay, tell me more about the licensing events, because I'm not very familiar with that. I'm sure our listeners and watchers would like to know more about what goes on at something like that. Who's there?
Yeah, one big one is in Las Vegas. There's a licensing expo that's there, so it's a great place to go and see what's what's happening. There's every kind of big movie studio will be showing off what they're working on. There's just a ton of licenses that are there, and you can kind of see what's big and what's growing, and it's a good spot to go and just sort of rub elbows and talk to different licensors and see where there might be fit for product.
Yeah, I did. Chad, you talk about, first off, I think the role for you is perfect. Congratulations on that. And being
Thank you.
kind of in touch with the pulse of the hobby. It's really cool that you guys are out there in the field, if you will, meeting people at expos and stuff, but you're also at your desk interacting with the collectors. And I see that on the new products spotlight videos that you guys do monthly. Can you talk a little bit about maybe why you guys continue to do those and what a great resource they are to see the new products that are coming out? Why does Round 2 and Chad, who's extremely busy at his job, take the time each month and show us the cool stuff coming out? And we're not talking about just Diecast. Every collector gets to see what you guys are offering in the future.
Yeah, I think those videos were kind of birthed out of necessity in the beginning, where I've talked about several times I've been on here, but we're a pretty small team at Round 2 with a lot of different product lines. And for a long time, our marketing team was me and another guy that's part-time that was working on stuff. And so with all the different brands and things that we were working on, it kind of became easier just to make sure with so much product that was coming out that we were showing everything. So on top of just doing our regular posts that we would do on social media, we decided that a monthly update all across the realm in the world of Round 2 is just a way to make sure that we're getting the information out there for everything that's on the way from our factories and everything that we have in the pipeline. And so it was kind of just something where, hey, we didn't want to drop the ball and not let people know about a certain thing that was out because we didn't have time to write a post about it. And now, even though we do more posting and we've got some more help in the marketing department, we've got Drew who helps out. He's our new social media coordinator, and there's a lot more work that's going on. It got quite a big following, so we've continued to do it. We've grown the channel a decent amount from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people look forward to it. If I'm late, they'll call and ask when the video is coming out. And so it's turned into a really good tool. So it was just built out of necessity, and we decided to keep it going.
I don't think people can appreciate how rare it is to have access to the people making decisions. And when you guys are interacting, and this is on YouTube, collectors, if you want to go to Round 2 for You on their YouTube channel, that's where these spotlight videos are. But someone from Round 2 is actually engaging, and there's interactions between collectors, taking feedback, and we don't get that with every diecast company. So kudos to y'all for doing that.
We'll be back with more Diecast Breakdown after this word from our sponsors. Legendary Hollywood concept artist and designer Fireball Tim Lawrence has created 3 exclusive pieces of automotive art based on the 3 hosts of Diecast Breakdown. Get these and other brilliant designs printed on mugs and more at fireballtimgarage.art today. Here's this week's small channel shoutout.
Dom's Garage.
If you have a favorite Diecast channel with less than 700 subscribers and you'd like to see them highlighted on a future episode, email us at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com.
Cast Heads Magazine is a digital publication dedicated to enhancing the lives of collectors all across the world by providing information on new models, reviews on brands and diecast accessories like figures and dioramas, throwing light on customizers, photographers and people who contribute to making the diecast world vibrant. Subscribe to Cast Heads for free and look for collaborations with Diecast Media Network at castheadsmagazine.com.
And now back to Diecast Breakdown.
I'm curious which collecting community is the most vocal on your social media, especially when you're doing something like that where it's all together as one.
Well, the most they're all vocal, but we like to say passionate. But
There you go.
we hear a lot. Certainly, the model kit guys they always have a lot of different cars that they want to do, and there's such a storied history with all of our brands in modeling that it's really interesting just how much each of the collectors know and how much they remember the kits from back in the day, and then also the new kits as you're bringing new people into it. But I would say, I mean, we get a lot of comments across the board from all different types of our collectors. And I guess that's another thing that's nice about doing the video all in one is if you're a car guy, you're a car guy. We kind of have talked about that before, but you might be a diecast collector and you just haven't found the right model kit to build yet or the right car that you want to do. So we feel there's a lot of connective tissue between all the product lines. So it's good to kind of have it in one spot. And obviously we break it into chapters in case people want to skip through. But it's nice to see. I think there's a lot of guys that kind of jump between one or the other.
Yeah.
So there's usually every month is different too. So it depends on, sometimes we've got more in the realm of diecast or more in the realm of model kits. There might be slot car guys. A month where we'll have something, or a month where we're still working through some new releases. So it changes month to month, really. Who's the most vocal?
Well, we recording this at the very end of October, so we're
Hey,
Mark.
Chad. Hey, Chuck.
What's up, Mark?
Hey,
Hey.
David.
Oh, I got a hey. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the party.
Yes. So
Chuck
we
was
were
in the middle of asking a question. Go ahead.
It's okay. All right. I'll get back to the show. You've got these updates coming out. They're really great. You're getting a lot of feedback, I'm sure, from these. And you've brought back a lot of model brands from the past in the plastic side. And recently you guys are bringing back a kind of forgotten run, something that I really liked from the Playing Mantis days, the classic plastic brand is coming back. So talk a little bit about that, like where that came from and how that line is coming out.
Yeah, it was one. I think I can't remember the last release. I believe it was Playing Mantis era. But yeah, it was a long time ago, and we decided it was a good time to bring classic plastic back with all of the other model kits that we were doing. So we've got it fitting into our pop culture line in Johnny Lightning, and the first one is the ice cream, the like show rod, the ice cream truck show rod, Fast Eddie's ice cream, I think. And that was a MPC kit, and it comes with a little mini box along with it, and seems like a kind of a fun one to do because we do have the Barris T-Buggy, one of the real T-Buggies in the back of the shop. And so we brought that one back out to start with, but we'll be doing some more of the classic plastics too. And we always try to, within the pop culture line, we usually have a little extra piece that comes in. With Monopoly, we would have game pieces, or we would have Trivial Pursuit cards or tokens. So it's kind of fits within that line to bring back classic plastic with the matching mini box.
Yeah, I love those mini boxes. They're like these. For those who don't know, it's like a nearly perfect like reproduction of the actual model kit box. It's not big enough to put the actual car in, but it looks really cool sitting next to it. It's that's a really cool thing, and I'm glad that you're bringing back some of the classic castings from that era. And it's funny thinking about those because I remember when they came out, and now they're practically retro. But you know, that's how time works, I guess.
Yeah, even the packaging design, they went
very old school.
Looked exactly like a Playing Mantis era release Johnny.
No, I thought that was very cool. I definitely got some flashbacks from that. You guys had a lot of stuff going on this time around in 1964. So you had that one. You've got a couple of licensed pop culture things. You got the John Wick car. You've got a Blues Brothers cop car. That one comes out every now and then. And this time around, it's a weathered Chicago police car, which is pretty cool. There's also the Mystery Matinee line. You've got a particularly intriguing looking 1969 Charger Daytona with some mighty colorful graphics on it. So let's talk a little bit about the Mystery Matinee line.
The Mystery Matinee line is just a fun way to let you guess where we might have gotten inspiration for the cars from.
And that does remind me of the Playing Mantis era, because Playing Mantis era Johnny Lightning liked to sneak little things in there. Like there was a project in progress Mustang, 65 Mustang, that was oddly similar to the 65 Mustang in Fright Night. And then there was a 69 GTO that had some bullet holes in it that looked oddly reminiscent of the 2004 Punisher vehicle. And I thought those were really fun things. There was another one too. I think it was like there was the Chevy Vega from, has it Never Been Kissed or something like that? Like the Drew Barrymore movie. So it's fun that those things are coming out. I'm definitely looking forward to adding that dirty Daytona to my collection. So, and Mark, I believe there was something in this latest lineup that caught your interest as well.
Yeah, I saw you guys. I think we've talked about it in the past, the BRE slot cars that you guys have, but there's some regular diecast like 164 coming out, right? As we speak of to the 280ZX.
Yeah. In the Johnny Lightning line, the
Johnny
280ZX, we're doing the John Morton car and I think the John McComb car. So
there's two cars.
They're tributes for the 240Zs that were run by BRE. So we've been doing that with part of our Brock licensing. And then we did that slot car set a while back, and we actually just did a 3-car release for BRE slot cars as well. So we did another variation for the 240Z and the 510 in slot cars, and then we did a 620 pickup too.
Oh, sweet.
And those have been doing really good because even way back in the old slot car era, they actually would tool the Datsuns with RE was in the tooling for some of the old slot car brands back in the day. But from what I can tell, nobody ever did an actual BRE racing slot car set. So once we tooled the Datsuns and got the license, it seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Do you know if he's doing anything like with his website where he's signing stuff and selling it? Do you have any clue? Peter Brock?
I know he does some signs and selling, and I know that we send him some samples. I don't know if he's doing any with this release. I can check into it and get back to you.
Let me Google
if you
that.
want one.
Yes, that could have been solved with a Google. You've got your own little Z car that you've been working on. We were talking a little bit before the show about that. How's that going?
It's going like most project cars. It's the never ending project that you find more stuff that you need every time you get it. So that's what I was kind of mentioning earlier. I've been in the bodywork stage for a long time, putting floors in it and reinforcing everything, holes in the firewalls that we were filling in. And so my recent thing is just teaching myself how to weld instead of having my friends come over and weld everything for me, just to keep the ball rolling. But I've gotten a lot of that work done, so I'm excited for the next bit of getting the engine in. So I have all the drivetrain is basically ready to go. It just needs all pieced together. And welding was holding me back, so we're gonna learn how to weld 20 gauge Japanese 50-year-old metal and see how many holes I blow in it.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say you're gonna burn through that thing so easy. Get that welder on the lowest setting that you can, because you're gonna burn right through it. Because when I was welding on my 64 Valiant, it was, and I think that's 18 gauge, and it would still burn through real easy, even on a 120 volt welder. And I would like to say that I taught myself how to weld, but I cheated a little bit. I took like a 5-week welding course at the community college. So folks, if you're thinking about learning how to weld, check your local community college, because frequently they'll have they make it very clear this is not welding for doing it as a job. This is welding as a hobby.
It's welding
for arts
dummies.
and crafts. Welding for dummies. And
I might have that look. I got it.
Yeah, they let us play with, we actually got to use MIG welders and stick welders. And then they demonstrated TIG welding for us. They wouldn't actually let us mess with it, but it was a fun little evening course to do. And then I had my friend come over who's much better at welding than I did, and show me all the ways I was getting it wrong. But I hear you on that, because I think my project took about 6 years, not quite 6 years, and 4.5 of them were body work. Like once you get that done, the rest of it is just like flies together, because it's just like there's so much prep and so much fill and sand and weld and fill and sand and repeat that has to happen. That's cool. Well, any chance we'll see that car represented as a diecast when it's all finished?
That would be nice. We don't have a 240Z yet in the plan for 64 scale, but I've thrown little hints in some of the slot cars. Like we did one where we made it avocado green and like threw my name at the top of it, because the car was originally green before it was badly repainted silver by the previous owner. So hopefully it'll make it back to that, because I love that super 70s color.
Yeah. See it too often.
Like a love it or hate it kind of color, but yeah, for sure.
Hey, Chad, last year you were kind enough to show off what I thought was the star of the 2023, 24 lineup. And we all know which vehicle should have sold the most out of the entire lineup. That would be the Caravan. I'm curious to know of the actual numbers and how you guys think that Caravan model that you guys put out was received, and was it beyond expectations? Because I think everybody loved it, and we were so geeked to see it when it rolled out. But has that been the case with the company? We know that there's more colors coming out, so apparently it did okay. What'd you hear?
Yeah, it's done pretty well, and we did the Caravan and then the Voyager versions too. So a lot of the feedback back from everybody has been that they needed to get this specific color because that was what their mom had, or this was the one that they had as their first car.
Sure.
And we've had guys say, "Oh, I was in a band and I took the back seats out and we threw all of our stuff in it." And so they have done pretty well. I would say, in some ways, it was a little harder to gauge last year because we always do everything in 6-car assortments. Yeah. So we're actually finding better ways to really track like what the best stuff is. Because if you sell the whole 6-car assortment, then you can look around and see what's left on the pegs to really know what's hot. And we can gauge a lot of that just by kind of paying attention to the comments or seeing what else there is that's out there, or seeing how it sells on Auto World Store or on some of the other sites talking. But we did to see a really positive feedback. And the ones we haven't done yet that I'm really excited for are the turbo versions of the vans. We haven't brought those out yet. The later body style, they actually have a different front.
The single headlight, yeah.
Yep. So I'm excited for those. Those will be coming out, I believe, next year. And so they had the cool some of them had a little pinstriping with the turbo on the side of it. And then we might be playing around with some other fun ways to bring those out as well.
Nice.
So,
well, you did that.
A little meat on the bone for the Caravan.
No, that's fun. Well, the 85 Voyager that you guys did is exactly the same as our 85 Caravan that we grew up with. It was you did that in tan with a little brown stripe in the bottom, and it's crazy. It's like I'm holding our old family vehicle in my hand. It's very weird.
I think the maroon interior one was like my favorite because we did like the burgundy with the maroon interior, and I can't remember if we did another variation, but that certain color of weird maroon interior is just so late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But you just look at, once you got the shade right and you look at it, it's like, I remember the smell of sitting in cars with that interior.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I've gotten every variation that has come out so far just because I love it. And you talk about love to hate, like the avocado green, like you love to hate these things because I remember ours broke a lot because it had that Mitsubishi 4-cylinder in it that would, at the time, was known to just blow itself up at 100,000 miles. Like you just kind of knew it was coming and set some money aside for a new motor. But
Mitsubishi,
I still remember my 91 Oldsmobile and just the feel of being in those cloth bench seats.
Oh yeah.
And usually the piping would start to break and it'd be pinching your legs when you were riding in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's what I remember the most about 90s car interior.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Auto World store, Chad. Let's hit that because I'm not sure everybody knows that they can find some of the hard to find. If you can't find the Auto World you're looking for, that's a great resource for collectors. A lot of times there's a sale. There's a sale going on right now. There's a 15% off coupon the night that we're recording this. The 1/18 scale stuff is on sale. It's just some really cool stuff. Talk about the store a little bit.
Yeah, so the Auto World store is our direct-to-consumer website. So that's how you buy directly from us. A lot of it is shipped even out of the same office building that we work in. And it's the whole reason we had the Auto World store was initially just so a lot of our distributors don't carry everything that we make. That might pick different things, or different stores will carry different lines. So it was a way to kind of get anything round two. And of course, for the people who don't know about the history of Auto World, the Auto World was initially a mail order catalog in the late 50s, early 60s for model kits and slot cars and the hobby industry, and it was out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. So initially, when we acquired the rights to the Auto World name, that was always part of it, was bringing back the idea of the Auto World store. And then as we continued down the line of doing slot cars and eventually diecast cars, we carried on that name throughout. So the whole part of the store is a big part of the history of the Auto World brand name.
Now, Chad, can you get chases through the Auto World store?
Yeah. We don't, because they are a chase. We don't, for diecast, we won't sell them separately. We do, because we have to break individuals down for slot cars. We will sell some of the I-wheels separately on there, but we do sealed cases in 64 scale, so we don't untape them or anything.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
You've got a chance if you buy a sealed 6-pack that you get. We've had people get. It is a good way to get that chance to actually chase it.
Sure.
And I have to find it on the pegs. We've been putting a lot more into the store also in the last year, just doing more advertising, redoing the website, and working through a lot of that kind of stuff. And we've got a lot more coming in 2025 in the realm of exclusives as well. So
Sweet.
I benefited from, I bought the Ford Motorcraft version of the Ranger and got a White Lightning from that one, which is very hard to get because that is an Auto World store exclusive. If I recall correctly, was the special Ranger with the Motorcraft on the side, and somehow I ended up with a White Lightning. And I didn't even order a 6-pack. I just ordered the individual truck and it came. So
like, I didn't
somebody
want
very
this.
kind.
Yes.
I was like,
Well,
well,
we
meant to be
color.
red. Why isn't it red?
We have had people send chase cars back because they want the regular color. That does happen sometimes.
Oh my gosh, dude, sell it and buy another one. Good grief.
We actually started doing little inserts. So if somebody gets a chase car, if it's something like that, say if it's an exclusive, we'll just go down the line when it's individuals, because those obviously you break open the box and it's all the same car. So you could buy a sealed pack if you bought like 24 of them. But if you do individuals, we're just going down the line and then putting them in there. And we've ended up making a little card that said, "Congratulations, you received a chase card," to kind of explain the chase car program for anybody who was just buying them
That
for a regular car.
doesn't even know about chases.
Let them know they got lucky and they didn't get the wrong color. But yeah.
Right.
You know, in your last spotlight vid, you kind of laid out the assortment or maybe how often the chase pieces are in the production run. Throw out that number so that they know, so that collectors know how special it is to get an ultra red, because it's a really low number.
With Johnny Lightning, White Lightnings, they've always been 2% of a production run is the general rule. For when the guys started Auto World, they wanted them to be a little easier, so they're 3%, a whole 3%. But then the Ultra Raws are 1 of 10, period. So whether it's a exclusive with 2,500 or it's a 10,000 plus run in mass, there's only 10 of the Ultra Raws, period, for Auto World.
That's awesome.
Pretty low number.
Wow. Yeah. I remember there was somebody found a 4-pack Ultra Raw and they were like trying to sell it for like $1,500 or something like that.
Yeah. That was, I think we've done it with all that, but I can't remember exactly. So don't exactly quote me on it. But that was part of the thing when we were putting the 4-packs together. Is it was like, do we have our factory do all the Raws as one, and we just
or scatter them throughout?
Yeah, we're like, that's pretty big to do it like that. Like that's going to be somebody's like find of a lifetime. So we decided, let's do it.
That's fun. Yeah, I was going to ask if they were all mixed in or if it was like you get a raw pack. So you get a raw pack. That's interesting. Okay. Speaking of finding things and ordering them, we had a guest on the show, Champion DJ K, was recently on, and he brought up that there are some suspiciously similar looking cars to Auto World and Johnny Lightning showing up on some of these overseas buying sites. And I was curious if Round 2 had a take on those, if any.
Yeah, we've seen people sending them to us, so we are aware of them, and so we're making necessary steps right now to move forward with that. So
yeah,
we have seen them and we are aware. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It's a wild thing just because I hope for you guys' sake that you can take the appropriate action to protect your designs and your products. But it's just like, I'm curious how that. And you don't have to tell us, of course. But just like that would be a really tricky thing. Is how do you track down what's actually going on in a factory that's like 8,000 miles away on a different continent. But we wish you luck with that. Hopefully that can get
Shut it
resolved,
down.
'cause that's a very, very strange thing. That I mean, I guess it's not unheard of though, because we had Christian Braun from HobbyDB on as well, and he actually specifically collects knockoff cars. And I found a knockoff Hong Kong plastic car that was it's a knockoff of the old Hot Wheels 442 Fire Chief car, and they must have cast a mold of it and made it into plastic, and it's terrible, it's awful, but it was just like, yeah, I guess that's just something that as long as these toys have existed, somebody's making a counterfeit version of it. So I guess it means you're doing something right if you're doing something worth ripping off.
Those cars are just
imitation of the greatest form of flattery or whatever.
Until they're taking your money.
Those cars are just, when you hold one in your hand, it's the worst ever. Like, what was light the fire?
There's no heft.
There's no heft. It's like you just want to throw it against the wall or something. I don't know. It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Don't touch that dial. Diecast Breakdown will be right back after these messages. Diecast Breakdown is produced in partnership with TWYCE Diecast and Driven Dreams Org on YouTube. Check out their channels in the video description and subscribe for more epic Diecast content.
Hey, this is Larry Wood.
This is Derek from Honest Diecast.
Hey, this is Chad Reid from Round 2.
This is Mike from Gaslands.
The SRT Jovita Show.
This is Champion DJ K.
This is Mad Vision here.
This is Diecast Dude.
And you're watching Diecast Breakdown.
And now, the thrilling conclusion of this week's episode of Diecast Breakdown.
Let's get to some real cars. Chad, you got anything fun we can see?
I do. I did bring some cars for you guys.
So, show and tell.
We will have a couple to show off. So I thought, hey, since we talk Auto World and Johnny Lightning, I'll bring an Auto World and a Johnny Lightning. So I could play a game and have you guys decide which one you want to see first.
The Saturn.
Do you have a brand, or do you want another hint, or
give us some hints? No, we are dense, but the three of us should be able to come up with something.
Probably not.
Okay, one of them is big, the other one is mid-engine.
Is it a car or truck?
Car.
Okay.
I don't know of too many mid-engine trucks, but
it's a new car.
Oh, do we have a Fiero?
What?
No, we each get a question.
We might have a Fiero.
What? Chuck Ellis coming through.
I was going to go like,
came right in with it. Yep.
MR2.
This is for Johnny Lightning, 1984 Fiero. So like our new Johnny Lightning castings, this is a true scale body. And like most of our castings, it does have an engine.
I think I just peed a little.
And a place to put your golf clubs right there. So, yeah.
Yes. So cool.
Well, there's your first look.
Yeah.
And it's got the you can see the Fiero wheels.
Proper Fiero
wheels.
Yes.
On behalf of collectors, thank you, sir.
Yes. That is too cool. I love my aunt was dating a guy for a while that had a red Fiero just like that. And
and of course this is just a test shot, so it'll have a lot more painted details with it when we bring it out. But yeah, I had a few friends with Fieros they swapped. It was a Buick 3800 or something in it. He swapped a bigger Buick motor into it.
Yeah. Chad, will there be two releases on that right out of the gate, like two different colorways, or is it going to be the red one first?
The red is actually just the color that the factory sent it in, so we could review what the tooling looks like. So
I tried there.
First release will probably not be red, and it may be a special, it may be an exclusive. So
okay. All right. The Diecast Breakdown Fiero.
So
check it out.
I knew that was one that you guys would like. I'm sorry it's not a Saturn, David, but
I don't know. I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
On a long enough timeline.
Yeah, enough monkeys typing or whatever they say. And then, all right, so are you guys ready for the Auto World?
Yeah, big car. Are we talking another land yacht here?
Somewhat. I mean,
Mark,
it is one. I don't know if I've seen anybody do this one yet. So, compared to the sizing of the last one, this is our new Plymouth Sport Fury.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the fuselage body.
Yeah, so this is kind of a casting that has been due for a long time because the Johnny Lightning is a true scale body. You can see the Arrow, Sport Fury.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, this is definitely a casting for the diehard auto world guys, like the guys that love the land yachts and the big American cars, the big American iron. So
nobody
we
does it
were
better.
probably overdue to bring another one back out. Opening hood, of course, with this one as well. It is a premium car.
Oh, that's sweet.
Chassis. And what's cool about this one is we can do a 1970 and a 71, and then we did 4 different front ends. So this is the Sport Fury front end with the hidden headlights. I think this is the 1970. We also have...
There you go.
There's the regular grille there for the Fury 3. And then we could do the 71. So these are literally just looks at the different front cores, so you can kind of see how the factory has it red. And then we'd actually did it black just so we could see all the detail. And might be a little hard. Maybe I could get my eyes out of the shot and it'll focus better. But so there you can see the other Sport Fury for the 71. And then we've got, these are both the regular lights. Yeah. So that's one that we're excited about. And that's one thing that we've got a lot of other things that are in the works right now too. I would say one thing that we're working on now is we're showing the tooling, and we have physical test shots. Tool is cut and it's scheduled and ready. So rather than showing it a lot earlier with the 3D prints, we've got a lot of stuff that's in the pipeline, and we're kind of deciding like to wait a little bit and show it so that there's less of a wait time for people between when they see it and get excited about it and then when it comes out. So these are all test shots. The tooling is done. It's cut. These are metal. They're not 3D prints. So
nice. And for people who haven't seen your previous interviews, like what's the timeline? Let's refresh us really quick on what the timeline is from, okay, we got the green light to do this, to it's in the package and it's being sent out to stores.
I mean, it can be, it depends a little bit per casting, but I mean, it can take us 9 months to a year to bring a tool out, even if things all go well. And then you get it into the schedule, you get it into the production plan, and make sure that everything comes out into the production plan. So it's also, once the tool's ready, you've got to have your hole in the production schedule to fit it into. So it's all kind of a bit of a dance there. But usually there's the process of deciding what we want to do and making sure we can get the licensing contracts made for it, to get the models added to licensing contracts. And then there's the whole process of figuring out how you're going to do it, how many front cores, really digging into the model and finding what the differences are, and how deep down the rabbit hole you need to go, and how many trim levels you want to do, and everything you adds a different cost to it. So that is the whole point where we'll come through and we'll do a request for quote and pull everything together for like the cores and all of that, finding reference photos, getting measurements. So depending on the vehicle and how hard or easy it is to find a reference, changes how long that process can take. And then you go through the process of getting the 3D done and getting the 3D made in a way that it can be made into a diecast car. But we pride ourselves on not rushing the 3D process. So there are some times where it only takes a couple rounds and we're happy with it. And there's other times where, I think with the Caravan, we did 7. I did 7 different rounds in 3D before we were happy with the grill textures and all the little details of it. And then you get your 3D prints and you review those, and then you finally go into cutting the tool and slating it into the release and flat art and all of that. So it is a process, especially doing a car that's unique, doing more unique vehicles or older vehicles where you don't have provided 3D reference from. If we want to do a 2025 Mustang, Ford has all the CAD, and if they can help us out in that process, but you have to have a good reference for all the other stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Hey, Chad, so for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about the Johnny Lightning Club and what the details on that and what they can expect to find with that specific club.
Yeah, the Johnny Lightning Collector Club is exclusive through Auto World Store. So part of the club, you get an exclusive membership package, membership box with an exclusive car in it. We've done a few different boxes with Royal Bobcat GTO. We did a Mr. Norm's Demon. So it's a really cool presentation box that comes with it. And then being in the club opens you up to other opportunities for special releases or first looks at some exclusives that we have. Maybe a first chance if we do like an event car where you can get on an email list and then join to get that initial look at stuff.
And that's something that they can just go to the Auto World site, or they have to go to the
if you go to the Auto World page and purchase the club membership box, that's how you join.
Okay, and that's like, what was that? Is it annual fee? So like,
currently we're not. We hadn't been doing it as an annual fee.
Just
we
one-time?
did have a membership box, but we did carry a lot of our members over through to keep the membership strong. But we have a lot of people, as we offer different variations of boxes, then you come back and buy the next box with the new car and then get the other exclusives.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Makes sense.
All right. Well, Chad, it's again a delight to have you on and talking about all these new things coming out. We're coming up on 2025 here. You've had this dynamite year with 2024. Are there any big goals, anything that round two is looking, any moonshots or anything that you'd like to share for 2025 that we should look forward to? Any goals for the different brands?
Yeah, I think 2025 is, we've kind of been talking throughout this year as 2025 being a year where we're going to try to bring out a lot of new stuff that we've been working on in the background. So, I mean, we even had a meeting today talking about ideas of 15 different castings that we might want to do. Now, I don't know that all those are that many are gonna come out, but we have a lot in the works. We're looking at new licenses that we'll be making some announcements here in the next couple of weeks for some new licenses that we're doing, for some exclusive product that we're doing, and going into some of our regular releases. We've got the tools I showed here, but there are several tools that are ready to go. I'd say probably another 3 or 4 that are going to be coming out soon that are already in the test shot phase. A lot of other stuff that we're working on RFQs and things for. A lot of stuff in the realm of model kits with some new tooling that we're working on. If you guys watch the next video, we got some new Star Trek tools that are coming out next month that we're going to be showcasing. And then there's a lot of things that we teased a while back that are coming out here quickly. So the Johnny Lightning Subaru is on the way, and there's some other tools that we've teased in the past that are all kind of moving. So I think 2025 is going to be a really big year with a lot of changes. And in 2024, we did a lot of warming up and getting things ready on the back end. And as I mentioned, we were a little bit quieter on the new tooling announcements. And part of that was just making sure that we're not giving information too early and getting people very excited when we've still got a long ways to go down the realm of prototypes. So there's been a lot going on in the background, and we're going to have a lot to showcase in 2025.
A lot of surprises.
Just keep in mind, Chad, in terms of production cost, you could do a plastic body on the Saturn and it would be accurate. Telling every time.
Yeah,
plastic fenders, quarter panels, it'd be cheap to make.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that. You drop it like when I hit a deer in mine and it just shatters.
Yeah. Pop that fender off. You could sell replacement parts.
I got a love for Saturn too, so I can say that.
Yeah.
He's got to figure out how to make it go into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, exactly. How do you do that?
Shatters.
I remember when Saturn first came out, I just happened to be at Cape Canaveral that year. I visited Kennedy Space Center. This was such a big deal that they had a Saturn on display in front of Kennedy Space Center because it was so futuristic, and you could go push on the panels and have it wobble and you go, oh, this car, it's plastic. It's from the future.
Yeah.
It was. I liked my Saturn. It was almost like a half European car. It had weird. There was a lot of weird stuff. It had the window switches down at the bottom. It had wheel bolts instead of lug nuts. It was on an opal frame. It was
not
they
weird.
Tried a lot. They had the Eco-Type motor, and that motor went on and became kind of legendary. And Well, I don't think Saturn gets all the credit they deserve sometimes.
It gets zero with the credit it deserves.
Yeah, someone should make like a model of it to remind people of how special they are. You know?
Yeah.
I rest my case.
There you go.
Yeah,
Now it
all
can
right.
be plastic.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Chad, again, a delight to have you on. Let's once again remind people where they can get all the latest information from Round 2 and all the amazing brands that you guys offer to this community.
Right, yeah, let me take a deep breath so I can tell you guys all of our pages. Our YouTube page is Round 2 for you, and that's where we do our product spotlights. We also will sometimes show off new tooling on there as well, and so do some unboxing for some of our new model kits. We've got on Instagram, we've got pages for Auto World Diecast and Johnny Lightning Diecast on there, as well as Round 2 Models has a page there on Instagram. Same thing on Facebook. We have those pages as well for Johnny Lightning, Round 2, and Auto World. And always, you can go to round2corp.com. You can go to Auto World store if you want to purchase Round 2 Corp to see some of the new news that we're working on. And yeah, I think that's most of them. There might be a few more.
That'll get you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google is your friend, people. Figure it out. And make sure you sign up for the email newsletter too over at the Auto World store, because that's a great way to keep tabs on when the next sale is. And I'm always looking for those notifications in my inbox.
In this economy,
see what's
gotta-
happening. I know, right? You gotta shop those deals, man.
Black Friday's coming up, so
yeah.
Boy,
we'll have some good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
already preparing my wallet now. So, all right. Well, Chad, thank you again for being on the show. And thank you, watchers, listeners, wherever you are, for making it to the end of another episode of Diecast Breakdown. If you've made it this far, leave a little comment letting us know that you made it to the end of the show. Those people are very special to us. Not a lot of the viewers make it this far. So if you've made it this far, thank you for being here. And thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, especially that share button. If you like what we do, tell a friend. It really helps grow the show. And we've really been picking up some good momentum lately. And personally, I am looking forward to finishing my move here in the next few weeks. So we'll be able to ramp some things back up, and you'll be seeing more cool things on Diecast Media Network. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you to the patrons who make the show go. Again, if you want to join their ranks, you can click the little join button or go to diecastbreakdown.com. And again, make sure you check out drivendreams.org. We are still collecting cars through the end of the year. Mark, anything you need to add there?
Just keep sending me numbers and just keep donating to your local food banks, hospital, fire stations, police stations. There's so many places. If you can't figure it out, just shoot me an email, info@drivendreams.org, and ask, hey, Mark, where do I drop these off? And I'll do the Google search for you. I'm willing.
All right, well, check that out. And again, thank you for checking us out. And as always, we want to thank you for coming along with us for the ride. So until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Thanks for listening to Diecast Breakdown. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend to listen in. Find Diecast Breakdown on your favorite social media platforms or visit diecastmedianetwork.com to learn more about this and our other projects. Diecast Breakdown is a presentation of Flying Valiant and the Diecast Media Network.